We are not going to do it now because it is complicated, but we are a small group enough to put ourselves in a round. Okay, so we will start with a meditation. So it will be, and just after the meditation, I will do this introductory to what is it that I am doing and what is it that I am going to teach during this training course. So, because there is someone here which is Pritam, nice name. You know, we used to call Guru Raj Pritam. Pritam, yeah, well, Pritam. You know, I don't know who gave you that name. Who gave you that name?
It's a spiritual name through Kundalini Yoga.
Through Kundalini.
Through the 3HO is how I got
Pritam,
it.
you know what it means?
Well, Pritam Bani together means one whose heart is filled with love and whose words carry God's divine sound. That's
Pritam,
what my name means.
Pritam means the beloved.
Love.
Mm-hmm. So Pritam, whatever they did.
Bani is like a hymn or a song.
Pritam song? Okay, so Pritam Soni is a song to the beloved. Then you know Hindu people like to put a lot of floritude.
There you go. Song to the beloved. Thank you.
But you know, a song to the beloved would be the real translation. Pritam means the beloved. And that is what we used to call Guru Raj when he was staying at our home. You know, the name we used to call him, you know, when he was, you know, in normal, homely circumstances, we would call him not Guru Raj or Guruji, we would call him Pritam.
Yeah, really.
Joan, s'ha de posar el foc després.
Sí, poner foco, sí.
¿Ahora o después?
Bueno, lo puedes poner ahora.
S'ha d'enxufar.
There's another person coming, so we will wait. Well, while she arrives, as Pritam has not done this meditation before, I am going to just explain how it is done. You've done some kind of meditation before?
A lot.
What kind of meditation you do?
Either guided, visual, chanted, silent, breath.
Yeah, with
mudra.
breath. So do it with breath now.
Okay.
Just put your attention in breath. Look, there are basically three kinds of meditation techniques. The meditation techniques which we could, you know, say that they are based on concentration. The meditation techniques that are based on, you know, open presence. And the meditation techniques that are based on, we could call it loving kindness, which is basically devotional. So loving kindness includes from kirtans to gospel, to any singing expression, you know, of a song to the beloved. So this is a concentration. This would be a technique within concentration. In concentration techniques, what you use is an object of your attention. For example, the breath. You can use different objects. It could be a visual object, it could be a sensation, it could be a mantra, it is an object that you use to do one of the main things that you want to achieve in meditation, which is discard the thoughts of the mind. The mind is continuously producing thoughts of all classes, but 99.999% of the time, as Guruji used to say, it's bullshit all. It's all bullshit. You know, it's all pure bullshit, inner conversations where you are just lying, manipulating, inventing a world that is not existed but in your mind. So it's a kind of, all those thoughts are related to your identity, to your perceived identity, to your imagined identity. And in meditation, one of the things you try to fulfill is to be able to exist without that, or perceive without that. So you know you will be putting your attention in your breath, for example, and you are aware of your breath, but in no time you will be doing the shopping in Stop and Shop for the dinner, no? Say, for example, or whatever the case might be. So when you realize that you've lost contact with the object that you are using to stay here, in this case the breathing, you just let that thought go, and you let it go by changing your attention from the thought, that you had the attention in the thought, you change the attention and you bring it back, in this case to breathing. Right? So this is the technique that we are going to do now. The technique has two phases. The first phase is we are going to do what is called a pranayama mantra. Obviously, as a yoga kundalini teacher, you know what is pranayama. So it's a breathing technique that goes with a mantra. So the technique is you breathe in, and while you breathe out, you say the mantra. So you breathe in, Aim Hrim Krim Chamundaye Viche Che. In the last Che, you have breath out. Aim Hrim Krim Chamundaye Viche Che. And again, you breathe in, Aim Hrim Krim Chamundaye Viche Che. This, what happens with this technique is the following. First, we will all be breathing at the same time. And as we are going to do 3 rounds of this chant, and each round is more or less 5 minutes, we will be breathing together for 15 minutes. This creates a kind of communion, you know, between all of us that happens by itself, just because we are breathing together. If you try to breathe together with any person, you know, you sit down and you hold hands, for example, say, let us breathe together, and you start breathing at the same time, you get kind of closer to that person. In fact, people that come to and do this meditation, after the meditation, they kind of like each other more. and that happens automatically. But there is another very important thing that happens here, which is you are moving these muscles that are connected to verbal thought. You know, when you think, most of the thought is verbal, and you know, the verbal thought is connected to these muscles. That's why some people, while they think, they move their lips, or they even speak while they think, you know, because they are connected. So you break that connection because you will be voluntarily moving these muscles to say Aim Rim Krim Chamundaye Viche, while your mind is thinking verbally. So it creates a little distance between you, the verbal thought, and the act of moving. It kind of keeps your concentration, because if you don't keep your concentration, you might be doing the Aim Rim Krim Chamundaye Viche, Aim Rim Krim my fucking husband chip che. The thought flips into and you realize, and it kind of allows you to kind of separate yourself a little bit of your thought, because what you are wanting to do is discard. So while you are repeating this mantra, that I'm going to put it here,
Okay.
well, this could be to ease also, okay? So, while you are repeating the mantra, the attitude would be just observe yourself repeating the mantra. You will observe your mouth moving, your breathing, the sound of all the people repeating it. You can also add a little bit of devotion here, because you know this is the Mahakali mantra. You are, it could be said, you are kind of invoking, it's a way of speaking metaphorically, eh? We are not invoking, but you are kind of invoking the feminine, because this is the representation of the feminine, of the goddess. Aim is the form of Om for the goddess, Hrim represents Durga, Krim represents Kali. No? It is said by the ancients, rishis, that that was the first sound that you could hear in the universe. Aim, Hrim, Krim, because Aim, Hrim, Krim is the feminine manifestation, which is the first manifestation of the unmanifest, that for that respect, and speaking in that language, would be the masculine part, no? So, Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche, you can also, while you sing it, you know, kind of put yourself in front of the goddess, which, you know, will enhance a little bit the devotional part of the chant. But the important thing is to just let go, observe yourself, and, you know, just follow me. I will be guiding it. I start more slowly.
I'm sorry, who was Aim? Who's the first goddess?
Aim would be like the Aim. Hrim is Durga, Krim is Kali, and Aim is the form, the feminine form of Om. So Om would be the masculine and Aim would be the feminine. So Aim somehow represents the feminine in global. So in the Shiva Shakti duality, Om is Shiva, Aim is Shakti.
Right.
So, and it is Shiva Shakti, it's the same thing, two aspects.
Right.
Okay, so what happened? You just observe yourself. I start slower, so the rhythm when I start is kind of Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche. Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche. And when I go quicker is Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche. Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche. Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche. And then I go slower again. So, Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche. The last one is very slow. So, the before to the last one, I will kind of do it a little bit different, so that you know that is before to the last one. And the last one, you get a big breath. Aim, Hrim, Krim, Chamundaya, Vicheche, and you push to get all the air out. And then you, just after the last one, you just leave your breath alone, and then naturally you will get air, and then if you leave it alone, the breathing will nearly stop, or practically stop. In some of you will stop completely. And when the breathing stops stops, the mind also stops. So just kind of let yourself fall into that quietude that is created. And when you are feeling more comfortable, I will start with the second round.
Okay.
So, and we will do 3 rounds. When I finish, I will be playing the gong, giving a gong sound every amount of time. You meditate with your breath. Those that have mantra with your mantra. If it is prep, the prep mantra. If it is the personal mantra, the personal mantra. And when you hear the gong is just another object that appears in your consciousness, but it's an object that appears and disappears very slowly. So you can kind of also let yourself kind of sleep in that and disappear with the sound of the gong. So you are listening to the gong like if it were a mantra. Those that are using the mantra, if naturally the gong sound and your mantra that tends to become more subtle each time, you just let yourself go with the mantra. For those that you use a mantra, remember the mantra is not a matter of repeating, verbalizing and inside the mantra. You start verbalizing it, but you bring your attention to your ear, to how does my inner voice sound when I am repeating the mantra. And once you are listening your inner voice repeating the mantra, you just let yourself be guided by the ear, and it will be little by little. You will not be repeating the mantra, but you will be listening the mantra. And you can listen the mantra in different parts of the body. It can vibrate in one place or in another, and the mantra has its own life. So just let it be in its own life. So, did you understand, Pritam? Well, the rest of you know I'm doing this for Pritam, basically. So we will do these 3 rounds, and just after that we start. Ready to start? You want to go to the restroom or something? You're all okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do today is introduce you into the teacher training course that I'm going to be giving. Now, the teacher training that we do in Spain is about 290 hours. So that means that from here to the 12th of December we don't have such amount of hours, which basically means that we will continue this teacher training throughout the time as I come back, and we might combine 1 day a week with maybe a weekend and whatever till we go through all the topics. as a special promotion price, everybody that signs down for this, until 12th of December for the same price, you can do the whole thing. So, which will, it will take time. It will not be from here to the 12th of December, and we will go little by little. We are not in a hurry to become a teacher. In fact, we are not in a hurry to get enlightened or anything like that. There is a very nice story that I don't know if I've told it before here, but that I usually tell the people I train as teachers in Spain, which is, it was Krishna that was, going to this town, and there was this sadhu, you know what is a sadhu, no? You all know Krishna, right? Mm-hmm. And you know what is a sadhu. No, these guys that go with a little thing, little dhoti, and they go through all these austerities and everything. So there was this very old sadhu at the outskirts of this little town, meditating down a tree. He was like 80, 85. He had been, a sadhu for the last 60, 70 years, you name it. Mendicating for his food, going through all sorts of austerities, practicing all sorts of techniques and yogas and this, that, the other. So, throughout that practice, his mind was sensible. His mind had become quite sensible. So he was meditating, but he perceived a presence. And he opened his eyes, and there he saw the Lord Krishna walking down the road. So he went to Lord Krishna and said, "My Lord Krishna, when I am going to become enlightened, when I am going to be one with you, when I am going to leave the samsara," samsara means, the cycle of birth and death. And Krishna looked at him and said, "Oh, you have advanced a lot, my son. You have advanced a lot. 3 more lifetimes, and you will become one with me." So this poor old man heard that, and he said, 3 more lifetimes. And he said, "My God, 3 more lifetimes to be born, go through all these austerities, and keep practicing and doing, and 3 more of those. And I'm so, my body aches, and still I have to finish this one." So in a very depressed mood, he went back to his tree and closed his eyes and continued meditating. And Krishna continued, walking towards the town center. And in the center of the town, there was this, musician, artist that was there, enjoying with their friends, having drinks, and they were singing and dancing. And, as he was an artist also has this sensibility, this sensitiveness in their mind. So he recognized the presence, and he turned back, and there he was, Lord Krishna. So he went to Lord Krishna and he said, my Lord, and when I am going to become enlightened, when I am going to become one with you, when I am going to leave this samsara?" And Krishna looked at him and said, "In about 100,000 lifetimes, you will become one with me." So this guy turned back to his friends with his drink. He was drinking whatever he was drinking, and raising his cup, he said, "For the 100,000 lifetimes that I still have to enjoy with all of you." And he became enlightened. So the attitude is that you are not in a hurry, and you can, a toast for the 100,000 lifetimes that I still have to enjoy with all of you. So that is the attitude. You don't want to hurry up to go to any place. You just want to be able to be here and now and enjoy the here-ness and the now-ness of life. Now, what I'm going to do is transfer you the framework of the teachings of Guru Raj. Not only we are going to review all the techniques, the ones that you practice and the ones that you may not practice but that he taught, but all his philosophy, all his practical philosophy. Guruji taught a practical philosophy, and we are going to do it throughout what I have used to teach these things, which is the scheme of one day. Because in reality, meditation techniques and spiritual practices is a discipline. It's a discipline that you apply for different reasons. Some people get into this discipline because they cry because they cannot see God. Some people get into this discipline because they are going through a bad or rough time in their lives and they think that, you know, these kind of disciplines can help. Some people come into these disciplines because they are bored and they are curious, and they could come into these disciplines in the same way that they could go to a, you know, sewing course or whatever the case might be. All the reasons are okay. All the reasons are okay because this discipline, if practiced, it eventually brings its fruits. Now the discipline is based on applying a discipline in the only day you have to live, which is today. Today, for example, it's just about to finish. But this is a very simple idea, very obvious idea, and around this scheme I'm going to put together all the teachings of Guru Raj. How do you apply this discipline in the only place where you can apply it, which is the day you have to live? Now, obviously, whatever you can do for yourself or for your loved ones, you can only do it today. Whatever you did yesterday, it is done. Whatever you could do tomorrow, if tomorrow arrives, well, tomorrow will be another day. But the only place where you have consciousness of yourself, where you can act for the benefit of your loved ones or for your own benefit, the only place where you think, the only place where you have feelings, the only place that you exist is today. And the way this works is that you wake up in the morning and you go to sleep at night. Now, we all have a sense of identity, right? So we all have an idea of an I, an identity. The thing is that we mistake our identity with our memories. Because what happens when you wake up in the morning, every morning, the first thing you become aware of is what? You tell me. What is the first thing you become aware every morning? Just go in your memory, try to find it in your memory. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first set of things that you become aware of?
The self.
Not even that, no.
Your body.
You become aware. What are the first thoughts that you have? All your problems, all. You know, you wake up and you think about, oh, this is a problem and this is another problem, and so it's you become aware of all your bullshit. That's what you become aware of. And you say, oh, this bullshit exists, no? So somehow this is your memories, and you project in the screen of your mind your memories. And when you project in the screen of your mind your memories, you wake up and suddenly you project in the screen of your mind the memories you have of yourself. You project the things you say to yourself about yourself to yourself. The things you say yourself about life. The people that are part of your circumstances, and the memory you have of your circumstances. So you project that in the screen of your mind, and without saying it, you say, I am this. And so these are people, A, B, C to N, and you project this, and you say, I am this. This is identity, ahamkara, the false identity. You think you are that, but that is a flower for one day. It's very easy to realize this by just using your memory. For example, if you go with your memory back to 9/11, to put a date that we can all refer to, you remember 9/11. Now, do the following simple exercise. Think about how was the bed you slept then. Think about the bed you were sleeping at those days. Think about what were your circumstances. Try to recover in your memory the color of the room, for example. Try to remember the things you said to yourself about yourself then, the things you said to yourself about life then, the people that you projected in your mind that were part of your circumstances, and the projection of the future you made then of this past, because this is a past, that we project into a future. Because we always think that there is something wrong with our memory of circumstance. Have you done that exercise? Now, tell me. If you compare that to what happens today, and you compare this projection to the projections you made then, are they similar or completely different?
Similar.
What do you mean similar?
Different.
Completely different. Completely different. I mean, the identity you had then and the identity with which you identify today is completely different. The identity with which you identified yourself at 14 years old has nothing to do with the identity you identify yourself today. The identity when you woke up at 20 years old in your mind was boyfriends and dancing, and I'm going to speak with this one, and I have to be whatever. But when you woke up at 30 something, it was the profession, work, your career. And when you are 40 something, it is the family, you name it. It's different every time. So the identity that you say, I am this, is an identity worth for one day. From one day to another, you don't see it change. But if you compare in time, you see that every day changes. And it changes with respect of what happens that day. Okay, so this is what we experience. We wake up in the morning, we wake up to this set of memories, we identify with that projection, and we have one day to live. That's the starting point. And then, during that day, the being, the self, expresses itself through three things that you experience in your consciousness, which are your actions. You could say that while you are sleeping, you are not there, because you are not in charge. The sense of the identity is when you wake up, you suddenly have the feeling, I am in charge. But when you go to bed, you are not in charge. it's kind of nature takes over. So in reality, in charge of your life, you are in charge during that waking stage. Okay? And once you are in charge, there are three things that you are engaged in or involved in, which is your actions, what you do. You can say that from the moment you wake up, the I that you identify with does things. You wash your teeth, you put a shirt, you dress yourself, you pick the car, you are 16 hours, let's say you sleep 8, you are 16 hours doing things. This is karma yoga. Karma means action. Now, Guruji Priyatam gave lots of practical teachings about how to deal with your actions in one day. And we will go into depth through all these teachings. We will be using satsangs of Guru Raj. We will be using also things from other authors that complement or give allow to have a better understanding of certain things, my own comments. We will go through what it is karma yoga, the yogas. Now the other thing that you do during 16 hours is you are thinking 16 hours, which is thought. You know, from the moment you wake up, the I takes over thought. You at least have the sensation, I am thinking. When you are dreaming, it's like dreams appear. But when you are awake, it's I think. And the I is related to what it is thinking. Now, this is Jnana Yoga. The yoga that deals with thought is Jnana Yoga. Jnana means this discernment or discrimination. This is action. Now, Jnana Yoga is I spend quite a lot of time in Jnana Yoga. Of the three yogas is the most arid, the most difficult one. But the jnana, which means discernment, is discerning, learning to discern in ultimate between what is real and what is unreal. Think about your thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, your mind starts chattering around. And if you are thinking about family matters, you might find yourself, directing, like a conversation to your mother or to your son. You might be having a shower and mentally telling your son whatever or telling your husband whatever. If you are thinking about friends, you might be speaking with this friend, and so on and so forth. If you are thinking about things about your work, you might be talking to internally, directing your talking to your boss or your colleague or whatever the case might be. Now, if you start looking at those conversations, you will find out that they are all untrue. They are all based on lies, manipulation, projecting yourself as projecting yourself as what you are not, and things of similar nature, i.e., you might be having a shower and you are telling your husband, say, no, I don't smoke now, but you know that you do. But you are telling him this lie. Or manipulation, you are directing this conversation with your boss, and you know it's just a kind of training to get from your boss a rise in your salary or whatever. You're trying to manipulate the circumstance. Or you are projecting yourself as Superman or Superwoman. You are having this mental conversation with this nice man, and well, you know, you are Superwoman is far from your abilities. This is the little I. The little I is built at your teenage age. So you have memories, a continuation of memories from teenage years, you know. So if you go back to when you were 6 years old, you might have memories here and there. If you go back to when you were 10 years old, you have, you know, memories here and there, but there is not a continuity of memory. Continuity of memory appears when you have conjured an identity, which you do when you are a teenager. When you are a teenager, you conjure an identity, and then you associate with that identity memories and experiences. And that's why from 13, 14 years old, most everybody has a continuity of memory. You can establish a line of continuity. Well, when you were teenagers, you lied as if it was going to come out of fashion, i.e., identity, the identity with which we identify each morning is a false identity. Now, how does this work? How does the mind work? How we can develop the discernment in our mind? How did the mind come about? Well, Guruji gave satsangs and very revolutionary ideas and very good new proposals to understand this that we will go into depth during the course. So I will also be covering all that part. Now, the other thing that is associated with you is your feelings. From the moment you wake up till you go down to sleep, you are feeling something. You can feel happy, you can feel depressed, you can feel desperate, you can feel whatever you feel, but you can feel bored, but you will be feeling something for the 16 hours. Now, feelings have to do with bhakti yoga. Feelings have to do with the heart. Bhakti means devotion, and the greatest of all feelings is love. If the day comes that you wake up in the morning feeling love, and that happens one day after another, you really don't need anymore. Then it's the moment where you raise your cup and you say, for the 100,000 lifetimes, I still have to enjoy with your company. So we will go through all the teachings that Guruji gave about Bhakti Yoga, including singing, including devotion, all what is Shakti and grace. We will be using satsangs, etc., etc. Now, in this day that we have to live, we put another yoga into motion, which is Raja Yoga. Raja meaning here royal, the royal path. Like a Raja, the Raja of Kapartula or Tuamutu or whatever. So we put a meditation to start the day, and a meditation to end the day. And we discipline ourselves to live one day after the other. This does not mean that you don't have a direction, because you know you have the fact that you concentrate in the day you have to live is like sailing a boat. You are going to, say, Ibiza. If you were in the Mediterranean where I live, say you are in a sailing boat, direction to Ibiza. So you are going north-northwest, say. So you know that you go north-northwest, but that day, that moment, the wind is coming here, so you put the sails here, and you might be doing zigzag because you have the wind coming towards you, or the wind can change and you have it in the back, and you. So to keep your direction is one thing, but you only keep any direction that you decide to have by dealing with the actions you do today, with the thoughts and how you deal with them you have today, and with the feelings and how you deal with them you have today. So we put together something that we apply to our day, and we concentrate in the only day we have to live. We keep the direction we want. You know, at our age, the direction is already set, so you don't need even to worry about it. Maybe younger people, you know, can have decisions about what direction, but you know, at our age, you know, the direction is already set. So to keep the direction is one thing, and to make the best of that day in whatever direction you are heading is another thing. And we are going to learn to do that. And Raja Yoga is a set of techniques. Some of them you are practicing them. Some of them you may have not practiced them, but Guruji taught them, and I'm going to go through them, because a teacher must have a full view, a full picture of the whole thing. Being a spiritual teacher is not a matter of, you know, following a manual, as many times I say. Being a spiritual teacher is a matter of having enough knowledge and enough experience, because you can only give your experience. The experience, you gain it walking the path. And the knowledge, you gain it in courses like this one. Ramakrishna used to say, to suicide yourself, you just need a blade. But to kill someone else, you need training. You know how to use the spade, and you have to be strong, and you have to practice, because it is easy to kill yourself, but not so easy to kill someone else. Same thing happens with the spirituality. To do your own path, you need, you know, couple of things, couple of directions, and follow them with determination. To teach someone else, you need to be well trained. And the goal of this series of Thursdays and all the weekends that we do till we finish the full program is train you to be good enough to teach others, which is the same as saying to kill others, because at the end you are killing the little I. So to kill your little I is easy. To kill the little I of another, you need much more knowledge and much more perspective of things. So this is what we are going to do. Each of the techniques that you are practicing and those that you are not practicing, we will go into depth with them. What is mantra meditation? What it is based? Why normally mantras have 3 syllables? What are the bija mantras that form a mantra? What are the chakras that they interact? How do you do the mantra technique? Because most people think that it's a matter of repeating mentally by verbalizing patatim, 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 patatim. That can be very boring. So we will learn, you know, about all techniques, Tratak, the different stages in Yoga Nidra, the different techniques of open presence, different techniques that Guruji taught throughout the satsangs. It's a wealth of knowledge. And what I'm going to do is that, as I have dedicated nearly 40 years to study these teachings and to teach other people to teach these teachings, I have to say that successfully enough, in Spain I have a group of very good teachers today, well-trained teachers that are good teachers. Well, basically I'm going to transfer that experience to you, which as teachers will help you. And if you don't want to become a teacher but just want to, go into more depth into these teachings, you are also welcome to come. So this is not a closed environment. These teachings are, in fact, for the benefit of humanity, so open teachings. It's just there to share them. So I will be doing this every Thursday. I will start with a scheme of all the things that we are going to study. We are going to study evolution, reincarnation, how does the mind work, what is ahamkara, what is the ego, what is manas, what is that part of the mind that is called buddhi, how does Ida and Pingala and Shushuma work. We will go through, all the different teachings of Guru Raj within selfless action. We will go through all the different teachings that Guru Raj gave when you feel going to thoughts now, when you feel guilty for something, when you have a depression, fear and how to deal with fear, where does fear stem from. And I will do it in a way that is integrated. So it's like pieces of a puzzle that make a whole picture. I will do this throughout, starting really because today I decided to do it more as an introduction and a question and answer session, so that you can ask me any doubts or any things. And I will do this until we finish, and it will not be the 12th of December. The 12th of December will be the first stage, but when I come back in February or March, whenever I come back, that will be February or March. Depends of how things go, it will be February or March really. But then I start all over. When I'm here, I will stay until the end of May. Then in June, until the beginning of May. Then in May, we have the international course in Spain that you're all welcome to come. And after the international course in Spain, I will come back and we will continue. So, it will be, the rest of the year, plus probably the whole next year, and we might need to do a weekend here of the people that are following, or 1 or 2 or 3 weekends. I will also go through all the different schools that today teach. Like I will explain you what the universities that are teaching mindfulness, what the MBSR protocol is all about, what the MBCT protocol is all about, what do they teach, what is non-duality and Advaita, what do non-dual teachers teach. And our teachings, as they encompass all of them, understanding what I'm going to teach you, you will understand any teacher. And you will be able to discern between good teachers and bad teachers. Because many people don't discern that at all. So I will go so that you understand well how is the market. You understand the market of spiritual teachings today. We will also go through, during this course, we will relate all these teachings to the different traditions. how does Christian tradition teaches this? Because all traditions teach the same. How do Buddhist tradition teaches these things? How, Jewish tradition teaches these things? Because all tradition teach the same things, but in its own particular languages and with many times with lack of understanding of what they are teaching. Many priests can be giving a mass and really not knowing what they are speaking about, even though they've studied 5 or 6 years of theology or whatever the case might be. But you will be able to understand a priest and what it says, or a rabbi and what it says and what he says, by understanding this picture, this holistic picture, if you want, that you will have after this training course. And now questions. Any questions about?
My question is really about missing a class here and there, and how life gets in. How do we balance that?
All classes are streamed, not publicly, and listed. And everybody will receive the link of each class. If you have not arrived, you at least have the video. So this is being video recorded, and every class will be video recorded, uploaded to YouTube, not in the public area that anyone can get to it, but if you have the link, you get to it. So for example, today, if you leave me your emails, I will send you the link for today, which will be there in YouTube. More questions? Good, thank you. So these kind of questions, doubts of any kind.
I'm just going to start a sheet. If you want to put your email on it, we'll start that now.
Right.
So I have a question regarding, even if you're here, can you still get the link to listen to it again if you want? Like, will you send them to everybody?
I know, I send it to everybody, here or not here.
Oh, okay.
Everybody receives it. So I will have an email list, and every Thursday after the class, I will get the link. Well, even I can send it even before, because the link, I know the link before I stream it. So I can send you, like every Wednesday, the link for the Thursday class. And if you cannot come here, you can always watch it real time.
Right.
Because it is streamed, it is broadcasted. So if anybody had the link today, they would be watching us now. As nobody has it. Nobody is watching. But More questions.
I like the idea of grounding us in his philosophies and his sources, his teachers, his traditions. Because we're sort of clueless on that.
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do, is the teachings of Guru Raj are so rich philosophically, so revolutionary in the sense that he has put forward proposals that were never put forward before, and that encompass things that seem to be contradictory. Like, devotion and non-duality, or things of that nature. So, you will learn a lot. It will help knowledge, it's not a great value, but you will acquire a lot of knowledge. But there is always Shakti, so the Shakti is always there. So the part of the Shakti will become part of the course also. I will also go, through little by little, and this more at the end, all the healing practices that Guruji taught, the different You know, he taught so many things that we could stay 5 years and continue. But you know, I'm planning to do it in 290 hours, which is how I do it in Spain. So this is just the first 2 hours. More questions?
You mentioned the manual. You know the teaching manual. I don't know who put it together, Rupa or.
Well, that teaching manual started with Amrit. Walter Belling was his name.
Oh, okay.
So he did this first version by himself. Then it was modified, and it is very much something that was used at the times of Guru Raj in Spain, in America and in the UK that I know. Because in Spain we had no manual, and one day I asked Guru Raj, these people have manuals, and he told me, you don't need a manual.
Okay, teachings were always an oral tradition anyhow, you know.
So, you know, we never had a manual in Spain, in fact.
But what I
We
wanted,
translated the English one so that they had that information also. But
I wanted to say about that manual, personally, I learned so much from it. That I thought it was written so well.
Well, because you know it has been
was
worked.
very rich.
It has been worked out enough by enough number of people, and it has very good points. In fact, that manual I have it translated into Spanish, and is part of the teacher training course. You know, because that manual has very good things, and particularly teaches you a little bit how do you initiate someone. How do you check the tratak point, you know, the tratak or the mantra. It gives you, you know, a list of satsangs that are very good to know and somehow understand, so that you can explain those things to your students. So I'm not saying that the manual is bad, I'm saying that it is not enough.
It's not complete.
It's not enough, it's not the whole thing.
Right.
It doesn't give the, but it's very good, it's a good product.
Yeah.
More questions?
So if you don't have the manual, we're not necessarily going to be at a disadvantage.
No, well, that manual I will use it, you know, part of the course will be giving you a lot of material in the form of videos, texts. I will also go, how do you apply these teachings if you want to teach in a school? How do you apply these teachings when you go to a prison? How do you apply these teachings when you go to groups that are, social groups that are in danger of exclusion, for example? Those kind of activities, we've been doing them in Spain for many, many years now, and we have created curriculums, no? Like for children, for infant, for early years, for primary, for secondary students. So we have, you know, you will go, and that is a lot of information that will be text, and that will include the manual, of course, you know, but you know, we will not reduce it to the manual. It will be, the manual will be just one part of it. It will be based on understanding the framework of Guruji's teachings, understanding the techniques and why they are personal, and why the individualization of the Raja Yoga is important. We will go through all the practical philosophy that he taught. We will go to understand what Guruji taught in the environment where we are. So we will go through what is taught in mindfulness, what is taught in Kundalini, what is taught in, you know, in all the different, say, schools, the Buddhist schools, the yoga schools, the, you name it, the academic university schools, more related with psychology. So we will go through all these things so that you know where we are positioned with respect of all of them. And so there will be a lot of videos, both of Guru Raj and of other people, you will have an access to a platform that you will receive the access together with the first link today, and in that platform I will keep posting all the information relevant to the class we have done. So if it is a video, will be a video. If it is text, will be a text. If it's an audio, will be an audio. More questions? No more questions? No? So shall we finish with a little sing-a-song? Finish with a song like that. Right? Pues ahora, todos tuyos. Yo me encargo de esto.
Sí.
So Joan is a teacher from Spain.
Oh.
He's been a teacher for how many years now? Well, he's been meditating for 11 or 12 years now.
Yeah, nearly 12.
And a teacher for at least 7-8 years. He leads the center in Cambrils, which is a town near Barcelona. He has lots of students there. 16-20 every class, 16-20. Yeah, compared to what we have here, good enough. Right or wrong? You have 16-20 every class?
Maybe 30.
30,
40.
okay. 30-40. Okay, so you know, and all young, very, very important. One of our goals here is to low down the average age of the meditator has to go down at least 30 years. Yeah, you know, because if the average age is 65, which is the case today, means that in no time there will be nothing left because we will all be gone. So we need young people.
Yesterday we sing more spiritual songs. Today, more happy. And it's a song for the summer that is going ahead. Love my lady, we together so long. Like the moon at the concert of my favorite song. So I see lady sleeping, I read a paper in bed. Need a personal colors, there was this letter that you like pina coladas, getting caught in the rain. If you're not into yoga, if you have a brain. If you like making love at midnight, in the dunes of the game, and I'm the love that you look for, right to me and escape. Didn't think about my lady, now he's so tired of me. Me and my poor lady, it doesn't have that. Yes, I like pina coladas, getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into the food, but I have infusion pain. Got to meet you by tomorrow, cause all this red tape at the park of the bungalow, we plan our stay. So where we have then she walks in the place, and he has smiling and instant, and he's a cure for her face. It was my own lovely lady, and she said to me too. Then we laughed for a moment, and I said I never knew. I never knew you like a pina colada, getting caught in the rain, and the feel of the ocean, and the taste of champagne. You like making love at midnight in the dunes of the cave, and you're the lady that I look for. Come with me and escape. You know the song? In Spain, it's not.
It's Jimmy
Yeah.
Not so well known.
Remember?
The sound of that guitar.
Yes,
so
very
good. It's hollow and it's cut out.
What?
It's hollow inside.
Most guitars,
I
right?
guess they all are. I never saw one like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
that looks like
Never mind. It had such a nice sound.
It's his
Le
playing.
gustó mucho el sonido de la guitarra.
It's not the guitar, it's his playing now, but.
beautiful.
Really, really.
Do you want to do a spiritual song? Do a spiritual
Spiritual song, Aleluya.
Hallelujah. Or
Aleluya.
yeah, at least all the songs are. The first I started yesterday, it was the Bonfire Heart of James Blunt. That is a love song, but when I sing this song, I feel it's a song for Ifsu, for our family, and the guy that sparks the fire, the bonfire fire. Good. So. I don't know. So, one hallelujah or maybe
Sí, Aleluya, que es el Ombur Oaxaca, que ya con eso cerramos.
again.
That's okay.
I hear there was a secret chord. David played and he praised the Lord. fears, the minor falls, the major lives, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 but you need proof. You saw her writing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight all through you. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke his throne, she cut you her, and from your lips she drew hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. You've been here before, I've seen this room and I've walked this floor, you know. I used to live alone before I knew you. I've seen you flat in the marble arch, but love is not victory marks, it's wrong, it's wrong. There was a time when you let me know what's really going on below, but now you never showed it to me. But remember when I moved in you, and the holy dove was moving too, and the everything was good. Hallelujah. It's not somebody who
next event is on Saturday. Well, Friday, if you want to come, is a weekend prep course. You want to, come, you can come from Friday. But on Saturday, we will have at 7 p.m. satsang, and Joan and a woman that sings very well called Alex from Michigan. So it will be English songs. From Michigan, but comes from Barcelona. So she has the Spanish thing also, although so you are all welcome, of course.
What time on Saturday?
7 p.m. 7 p.m. and we will have the satsang, the music, and something to eat also. So you don't need to come having dined. You can come,
You come empty?
You can come empty and have something to eat here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Otherwise, next class is next Thursday.
Otherwise, next class is next Thursday, exactly. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. teacher training. Every Thursday. Tomorrow hay un curso preparatorio. I will send you the link and you send to everybody the link for the video.
So I should keep that in the calendar?
Yeah, better, because I don't have the time for school. You send to everybody, I send you the link to you, and you send to everybody. Yes, of course, I want to do that.
But I'm gonna miss.
Okay,
Thank you for my shoes.
So it was really like you feel like you need to get together. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she might. Yeah, she is. No. Oh, yes.